And of course, so you meant EEZ, right?
Of course.
Yeah, it's a little tricky and confusing. So it looks like Seoul and Beijing only reaffirmed their differences during this meeting, but it's no big surprise considering how strongly they have been positioning themselves in terms of this conflict for such a long time.
Right, Connor. There's a lot involved in the EEZ talks, as Vice Minister Cho earlier said too, because the two countries have to go by rules while they both want to secure their own priorities. And speaking of rules, the earlier 14 rounds of negotiations failed despite the two countries being members of the so-called United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea since 1996. Now, that's why the consensus is that the new rounds of talks will be going on for years and years.
Right. I guess we could take, some consolation in the fact that they did agree to meet again for talks because, it's been 7 years since they last talked and today's talks. So it's great to hear that they will be discussing this again.
And that's going to be annually. But I want to add that the talks are not going to be on a vice minister level every year, but also director generals will be meeting and other officials. So they're going to take turns.
Right. And this time around, it was significant because the talks were upgraded to the vice minister's level.
For
correct?
the first time, yes, that's
right.
right.
Well, let's hope to see that we'll see more tangible results in the next discussions and more agreement in the future. Well, thank you so much for rushing back here to the studio, and thanks for that coverage.
No problem.